winner of Survivor 46, Kenzie. There it is. Survivor has crowned another winner. Jury, come on over. Kenzie pulled it out with a 5-3 vote. Wow.
She was the island pair creative. She survived the Yanu tribe, and she is now the Survivor Season 46 winner. Kenzie joins me now. I am pumped to be speaking with you. Congrats on your win. Congrats on your pregnancy. All good things happening for you. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm over the moon. I'm so happy. I'm elated. I'm excited. I'm relieved that the news is finally free to the world. It's everything good you could feel, I feel.
Yeah, no, and it shows. It shows. You look so happy, and it's so
Oh,
cool
thank
to
you.
get to speak with you. Yeah, so first things first. Okay, how would you had a quite the journey on the show. I mean, really a heck of a story. So how would you say that your early days on Yanu compared to kind of post-merge for you?
Well, Yanu was so tough. The constant losing, it just like really grates on your morale. And our shelter was bad. And, we were all fighting all the time. Tiff and I never fought. She's the homie, but
Yeah,
everything else was a mess, and when we got to the merge, I remember being like, did production build this shelter? It is the Taj Mahal over here. It was all Hunter. He was amazing.
of
He put
course.
I know, he had like everybody's initials carved in a tree for us to hang our bags. It was just immaculate. So I think my standards for living were very like low, and I was very ready to play. I had already played so much that I was like,
Yeah.
all right, now let's keep it rolling. Like, I'm good. I've navigated my way this far. Like, let me just keep going.
Yeah, and obviously it panned out for you. And what's funny is it's like obviously the show's called Survivor, but you guys were truly surviving on Yanu that first half of the game. I mean, that's like some of the crazy stuff we've seen. And speaking of, you touched on Tiff being the homie. But something that was really interesting to me is you guys were kind of a duo throughout the game, but then there was one point that you were very clearly trying to get her out, even though you didn't do it necessarily. Why was that what you wanted to do, and do you regret that at all?
Q got in my head. I knew everyone wanted
Figures.
to out anyway. And then Q was like, she's coming for you. And I was like, well, I'll get her first. And that was pretty short lived. It was like a 12-hour span, really, that I wanted her out. And then I was like, no, she's my girl. Like, never mind. And the only reason I regret it is because I looked dumb, because it didn't happen because of me. It would have happened, I think, without me. Like, that
Mhm.
idea had already been out in the ether. I wasn't the original creator of that idea. So I think the only reason I regret it is because I look stupid, but I don't regret anything because it worked out.
Yeah, it all worked out, so it doesn't really matter. Now,
Yeah.
how would you describe your game? Because you really did play this very interesting game that I feel like haven't seen been played well maybe in the last few seasons, and obviously the jury honored that. But how would you kind of describe your own personal game?
I think my personal game was just extremely social, and
Yeah.
it was extremely socially aware also. I wasn't always just in everybody's face being everybody's friend. I was very, very aware of who was around me at all times and who was talking to who. And most times I got a little cocky around the tip vote, but other than that, I was paying attention of like who I was spending a lot of time with in front of who. Like, it was a lot of balancing. And I think it was a lot of navigating and adapting. It took a lot to get to the point where I finally landed in an alliance that I could trust.
Hmm.
Shout out Charlie, Ben, and Liz. Getting to them took a lot of savvy adjustments for me to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you guys got out a key player, Maria, at Final Five, but part of that, in my opinion, was due to Liz kind of helping you with that Final Five immunity challenge. Tell me, what were your emotions in that moment of Liz like taking the step and effort to help you secure that win over Maria?
Yeah, I was shocked because it wasn't a plan. Like, we didn't talk about that at all. Like, we didn't ask to do it. Liz just started doing it. And it took me a second to be like, wait, are you helping? You're helping me right now. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I think even Jeff was caught off guard. He was like, whoa, like, Liz is helping Kenzie. I was just like so impressed with myself that I had a social game that warranted someone helping me. I was proud of Liz for her quick creative thinking, because she wasn't like, I'm gonna go get the plank. I was like, plank, plank trying to figure it out. And then Liz was like, bye. Like she just did it. And I think it's a shout out to Maria for being so good in challenges that really, I think it would have been close, but Liz really brought it home for me. I couldn't have, who knows what would have happened without her. Quick
Yeah,
thinking.
absolutely a team effort. Now, when we get down to Final Four, obviously you tried so hard and you were close to winning that Final Four immunity, but you didn't. Ben did. And
Mhm.
Ben decides to put you in the fire making challenge. And it was interesting from the viewer perspective because it kind of seemed like, in a sense, you wanted to go into fire, but also you seemed very emotional before and during it. So kind of walk me through what is like the headspace of trying to figure out if you're going to do fire and then actually being in the moment and doing it so you don't go home.
Yeah, so it was complicated because I make fires all the time. I'm a Carolina girl. I do that at home. I had practiced it. I had made every fire, not every, but like most of the fires. That was like my job at camp. Like fire was out, I would fix it. Like that, I had been doing it every night since we got Flint on Yanu. So I was like, okay, put me in fire. And then we got the knives and it was different than the machete and I just locked up. So initially I was like, put me in, whatever. I practiced for this. And then I think the fact that I knew if I could get to final three, I had a really good shot and there was no one in my way other than myself. That
Mhm.
pressure really got to me. And then I was like, never mind, put Charlie in. Like I'm scared now. Like I can't do it. I'm getting in my own way. But ultimately I'm so grateful Ben put me in because that resume check did land with this jury. I know
Mhm.
everybody has different parameters for where they hold that, but I'm proud of myself for overcoming myself. I'm grateful Ben put me in there and I'm grateful for who it resonated with on the journey or on the
Yeah.
jury.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of jury and speaking of then making it to final three, I would argue that probably what got your win outside of your incredible gameplay was you, I think, spoke the best at the final tribal. And so I'm curious because, I feel like everyone that's in the final three goes into that final tribal with a different maybe headspace and kind of idea of what they think is going to play out. For example, I spoke to Ben this morning. Ben's like, I knew I wasn't going to win, but it was going to be interesting how it was going to play out. So going in, did you think that you really had a good shot? And maybe kind of what was your like, your plot, your ploy with the jury to secure the win?
Yeah, going in, I was very confident. I really thought like I would get every vote except Maria's. Like that's how confident I was,
Yeah,
and shocked I was by Maria ultimately voting for me. But then final tribal started, and it's such a long thing. You only see a
yeah,
small portion of it. And Charlie was so good at articulating. And honestly, so was Ben. Like Ben really fought too in that final tribal. Um, yeah, it was so hard. They responded well to all of us. So it was really a toss up until Ben started reading the votes because I was like, Charlie's blowing me away with some of these answers,
yeah.
like Ben would have a good one and then Charlie would have a better one. And the jury would nod to Charlie the same way they nodded to me. So it was very hard to read.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Now, with that said, what's it like when Jeff's like, Kenzie, you are the winner of Survivor? And then also a second part of that, what do you plan on doing with the money?
Yeah, wow. It's really an indescribable moment. And I felt everything all at once. I was so proud and excited for myself, but immediately felt like awful for Ben and Charlie. And then we had to go immediately into the after show. And I was like, I just won and I'm processing that. And Charlie just lost and he's processing that. And Ben didn't get a single vote. Like, and the three of us really had such a fun day together because there
Yeah,
was no animosity. We had just like hung out, had breakfast. It was like such a jolly day. And then it was not. It was a lot to process. With the money, I mean, I wasn't lying at Final Tribal. I really am investing all of it for my retirement.
yeah. And
Um,
you're starting a family.
yes, and I'm having a baby boy in September. So I get to take a longer maternity leave, which I'm indescribably, there are no words to explain how special that is to me
Yeah.
and to my son. So it's really special and I'm so grateful. I wouldn't have been able to do it without this opportunity. So other
Yeah.
than that, my life is staying the same. I will still be doing hair.
You're still
I will still
Kenzie.
be working. Yeah, I'm putting that money away and I'm not thinking about it until I retire. Like that's the plan with the money is my life is going to be exactly the same.
Yeah, playing smart. One of my final questions, I feel like something that we don't get to see a lot as viewers is kind of the relationships after the show is done. And you did have a lot of close friendships. So where does some of your friendships stand with the cast today?
Yeah, Tiff and I are still like this. Hunter and I are like this. Liz and I are like this. Maria and I talk a lot. You know, I could go down the list of people that I'm close with, and I'm grateful for all of them. I'm grateful for the whole cast, the ones I talk to regularly and the ones I don't. We were all on this journey together, and yeah,
Yeah.
will cherish these friendships, the ones I have for all of my days.
Yeah, I can only imagine. My final question, Kenzie. If they do, well, they are doing a returner season, I suppose. So if
Yeah.
Jeff gives you the call, is like, Kenzie, we want you to come back and try this again. Maybe see if you'll defend your crown. Would you return and play again?
It's never say never for me, but right now
Okay.
I'm in my mommy homemaker era. I had a really full Survivor experience.
Yeah.
It's like I hit all of my bucket list items. I got the sanctuary, I got the letters, I got the friends, I got the money, I got the blindsides, I got blindsided. I did it all, you know. I did the rainstorm, I did the hot days. Like I got to hug Jeff. Like I flirted with Jeff a ton, you know, I had a blast out there. I had a lot of bad times out there. So I would love to see some of my friends win and sit
Yeah.
on my couch with my kid. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at. But at the same time, you don't know how it's going to feel if Jeff calls me. But I'm content right now.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it. That's a very respectable answer, I would say. So, Kenzie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Congrats on such an excellent win. You were so fun to watch this season, and I think the viewership really loved you, and so did I. So, thank you again.
Thank you so much.